You sit down at your desk with 2 quiet hours carved out for deep work. The phone is in another room and the document is open. You have every intention of staying focused until the job is done. 3 sentences in, a moth flutters against the window pane. Or perhaps it's just a dust mote catching a stray beam of sunlight. Your eyes track the movement for a fraction of a second. That tiny visual interruption triggers a chain reaction. The dust reminds you that the shelves need cleaning, which reminds you that you're out of supplies, which leads to a sudden, sharp craving for a snack. Within 60 seconds, you have abandoned the desk entirely. You are standing in the kitchen, eating a banana, and scrolling through a video about ancient architecture. This rapid leap from deep intention to total distraction happens with startling consistency. It is a universal experience, suggesting that our difficulty with focus might be a built-in feature of the human mind, rather than a simple lack of discipline. This restlessness spans all of human history. Centuries before the invention of the smartphone, monks in quiet monasteries wrote about their thoughts drifting away like clouds during meditation. To understand why this happens, we can look at a framework called the monkey theory. It views our attention as a restless creature that naturally swings from one branch of thought to the next. This radar-like scan on the left was once a vital survival tool. For early humans, any movement on the periphery, a rustle in the brush or a shifting shadow, required an immediate shift in attention to identify potential threats or food. Today, we try to apply that same brain to tasks requiring the narrow, linear focus seen on the right. When we sit still to study, our ancient survival system continues to scan for stimuli, often misfiring by treating a dusty shelf or a notification as a priority. Attempting to force a brain evolved for constant environmental scanning to lock onto a single target through sheer willpower is an uphill battle. We are essentially fighting our own evolutionary history. Let's return to the exact moment the mind starts to drift. By pausing here, we can change how we respond to the distraction. Most people react to a wandering mind with frustration. They try to forcefully suppress their thoughts or berate themselves for getting distracted again, which only adds stress to the task. The monkey theory suggests a different path, stepping back to observe the thought. You simply acknowledge the urge to leave your desk without judging yourself or acting on the impulse. This represents the moment of metacognition. The node labeled embedded thought is your distraction. By observing it from the detached observation node, you catch your mind in the act of jumping before it takes you with it. Realizing you are distracted is actually the first victory. The second you notice the drift is the exact second you regain the power to choose where your attention goes next. Think of your attention like the surface of this water. When the mind jumps, the surface becomes turbulent. A single, deliberate grounding breath allows that energy to settle back into a still, glass-like state. With the physical pause established, you must then psychologically let go. You acknowledge the distracting thought and give yourself permission to leave it behind for now. Now you perform the core move of the theory, the gentle return. You intentionally point your mind back toward the original task, whether it's a page of text or a line of code. This redirection is efficient. It avoids the exhausting internal friction of self-criticism, saving your mental energy for the actual work. This redefines what it means to concentrate. Focus is less like a solid, unbreakable beam and more like a practiced skill of repeatedly returning to center. On this timeline, a central straight line represents your goal. Inevitably, your mind drifts, shown by a rising curve. Applying a gentle redirection loops the path back, creating a continuous wave-like pattern rather than sharp, frustrating breaks. Accepting this rhythm builds long-term cognitive endurance. You can engage in deeper reading and more complex learning because you are no longer exhausted by the struggle to stay perfectly still. This practice also removes the guilt associated with losing focus. When you stop viewing distraction as a failure, you can spend more time learning and less time feeling frustrated. We cannot stop our minds from wandering, but we can change how we handle the journey. By mastering the gentle return, we keep our attention trained and our intellect happy.